This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend and administrator of JimCornette.com and the Jim Cornette Experience on MLW every week. And you are listening to the Undisputed Wrestling Show and Angry Barks and all these people that are asking me all these questions that I'm answering with forthrightness and honesty. How many times did the Indians kill John Wayne? John Wayne got killed once in a movie by Bruce Dern, and it pretty much ruined his acting career because people were mad at him. For 20 years, he couldn't get a fucking job because nobody wanted to see him because he's the one that killed John Wayne. It never happened but once. Talk about heat.
Well, Jim, you bring up a good point because you look at WWE today with Rusev, and, you know, instead of him just beating the living daylights out of people for several weeks, they're already putting him in high-profile matches. It just, I don't know, where's the build?
You know, that's the thing. When in OVW, when we got Batista here, he was green would be charitable. He was so green he oozed chlorophyll. He couldn't do anything, and he was past 30 years old at the time, and he was injury prone, and he hadn't really been a big wrestling fan. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. So, and I looked at him one day, and as a matter of fact, 2 weeks into his tenure here, he tore his bicep and had to have surgery, so he was able to sit for a few months and watch the guys train and kind of got an inkling of what was going on. And I looked at him, I said, I've got a guy that's injury prone, that's not a natural worker, he's past 30 already, and he's just starting. We need to make him a gimmick that he can get by with, that he can make up for his shortcomings. And we came up with Leviathan, the Demon of the Deep, the Guardian of the Gates of Hell, which was tailor-made to work with The Undertaker, to work with Kane, to work with Big Show. A monster. And we smashed him over. He sold nothing. He beat everybody. He beat everybody in convincing fashion. He did the 3 or 4 moves that he could do, and he didn't stay in he wasn't getting paid by the hour, as Jim Ross used to say about the Junkyard Dog. He lost only, I believe, he lost 2 matches while he was in OVW. One was against Kane, when he actually, I believe, got a Stone Cold Stunner from Steve Austin in the Louisville Gardens, and the other one was to John Cena, the Prototype, when he was leaving to go to the WWF and needed to drop the OVW belt, and Cena had to use ether on him, chloroform, to put him out because he was a monster. And as a result, he was probably the most over guy that we had in the history of OVW. Very seldom spoke. If he did, only a couple of words. Didn't have any long matches. Didn't have any tag team matches. Just went out there and smashed people until finally he got against, and he was a heel at first, but he got so popular because he was so dominant that we broke him loose from the group, the Disciples of Sin, and had him beat them up. And then the people cheered him and they loved him. And he was over like crazy because he was presented as a monster that was almost invulnerable and certainly almost undefeatable, and that's the way you get a major superstar over when he looks like that. Because I told him when I saw him, I said, you ain't going to be taking arm drags in the second match. You either got to be a main event guy or you might as well find a new line of work. And that's, unfortunately, they didn't like the gimmick, so they they had a gimmick that was tailor-made to work with Kane, The Undertaker, and Big Show, and instead they brought him up and put a suit on him and had him carrying Devon Dudley's box around until he started working out with Triple H, and then, then things changed.